back to another Wednesday whiskey review with your boys at the Buffalo Happy Hour, and today we have a little Wyoming whiskey. I don't even know if they made whiskey out there.
In Wyoming?
Yeah.
They do whatever they want in Wyoming.
Yeah, so this is their small batch bourbon whiskey, distilled, barreled, and bottled in Kirby, Wyoming. Did you know that?
Curbing?
Kirby.
Kirby.
Like that pink video game, remember that?
No, I just...
Nailed it. All right.
That's a name that I grew up yelling.
Kirby?
Yeah, no free shout-outs, dude. Relax.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So a little bit of talking points about this. So Wyoming Whiskey makes their own whiskey, not a blending or sourcing distillery, which is pretty unusual for out west. Founded in 2009 by Brad and Kate Mead and David DeFazio, along with former Maker's Mark master distiller Steve Nolly.
Oh, they poached them, huh?
Yeah, they did. That's why the whiskey is probably going to taste very good and similar to what you would find from Maker's Mark, but we'll figure that out. Some specifics of this particular whiskey: it is 68% corn, 28% wheat, and 12% malted barley, rye and malted barley, I guess. And it is 88 proof. This is said to be a homage to Wyoming being the fourth state in the United States.
Well, let's dive into label branding.
Let's do it. That's not right. What state in the United States?
Fourth?
No.
That's what you said.
44th? 44th state. That's what it was supposed to be. Because you double that, then you get 88. Right?
Math.
I think so.
I mean, 4 times 2 is 8.
We'll figure that out later. Small batch consists of a batch of 40 barrels, too, just so you know. They're one of the only distilleries that I think actually called out how many barrels are in their small batch. Because small batch, doesn't really have a legal term. I mean, it does, but the variety of barrels that can be contained in a small batch is wide. Like, I think it could be anywhere from like 2 barrels to 250, I think, which is wild. But anyway, let's do it. Label branding. What do you got?
Wood and cork obviously bumps it up to minimum of a B+. I would say A in most cases. Outside of that, the label is fairly classy, but also fairly simple. They do have a perforated words paper that goes over everything,
which is good. I like that it's perforated.
Yeah.
Bonus points for that.
Outside of that whole process, it's a fairly straightforward label. I mean, you do get the bottle itself has the engraving in it.
Yeah.
Or not engraving, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Their name on it. So
front and back. The label looks a little weathered, which is cool. It's kind of got that old-timey vibe as well, like the...
Old West?
Yeah, not as crazy as High West, but it still looks like...
No, I'm just saying the Old West.
No, I know. Yeah. It still looks like an old Western piece of paper. And they do have the mountains in the background, too, which is a nice touch. It's a simple label, but it does the job. So I will go maybe solid A.
Solid
A minus? A minus? I like A minus.
A minus.
Yeah. I agree. All right, nose. Nose. What are you getting on the nose, friend?
Let's take a little sniff.
This smells like Maker's Mark.
We did gain some subs, so if you are new to our channel, we do rotate the glass from nostril to nostril. Feel free to censor, but some people do call this the whiskey mustache ride. The reason being is one nostril is going to pick up ethanol, and the other is going to pick up some of the notes that we're experiencing.
I love how you can hear your...
I mean, sometimes you can hear it in Scarface, too, if you listen close enough. So anyways, you do get some honey, you do get some wood sugar, a little bit of baking spice on the back end of the nose. For me, my mouth is already, building up that layer in preparation for what's about to come. Even though it is an 88 proof, I'm not too worried. I feel like this is going to be smooth, but I am curious because off the nose up front, you do kind of anticipate the standard Kentucky whiskey feel and tasting notes.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on. The only thing I would add is maybe a little bit of a cracked pepper to it too.
Yeah, if you want to fine tune the baking spice. Yeah, I'm going to go...
A minus again?
Yeah, A minus.
Nothing crazy, nothing jumping out at you that's like, oh wow, this is wild.
Right.
But it screams traditional.
Yeah.
A minus. I like.
I agree.
Initial taste.
Hold your thoughts. This is oily. Ooh. This is a good sipper post-dinner. On like a Thursday.
Why Thursday?
It's not necessarily Friday where you want to like celebrate the end of the week. This is like I just had a really good steak. Maybe something big that, was worth celebrating happened at work. But you also want to decompress a little bit because it's been a stressful week up to that point because you're waiting for the outcome of that event to end. I feel like this would be perfect for that kind of an occasion. Like if you're in sales, a big close, big sale just dropped, something large just invoiced for you, something that you were waiting to ship finally did ship, something along those lines. Or if you're in the corporate setting, maybe that one manager you can't stand finally got fired.
There you go.
So now you can go home and just sip something real nice after a nice steak hearty meal. I feel like this would be really, really good towards the end of the week, but it's not quite like, ooh, it's a hot summer day on Friday. I'm just going to, grab something off the shelf.
So to me, as soon as that initial taste, so I try to categorize initial taste in 2 stages, which kind of sounds weird because initial you would think 1 stage because it's 1, but with the initial stage, you get the blast of initial flavor, and then you get the settling before the ending note. For me, the settling before the ending note is actually leather.
Yeah, I can pick up what you're putting down
there. And then
there.
the initial taste is a sweet corn and honey.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Agree.
I'm going to go A on this.
Yeah, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this. It's not... It doesn't taste like it smells at all.
Not at all. It's a totally different experience, which I like. I like dynamic whiskeys because you get a lot from like the centrally located southern states on the eastern coast. A lot of them taste the same, and a lot of them have the same dynamics from start to finish. This is 2 totally different worlds kind of colliding into one between the nose and the initial taste. On the ending note, I'm still just picking up a little bit of that oil. It makes you salivate in your palate, but it's not bringing too much forward where it's like, I need to counteract this burn because it's 88 proof. I feel like it's the perfect proof. This is diluted, lack of better terms, in my opinion, perfectly for what we're trying to do. I mean, if you wanted to cut this with like 1 drop of water, but I really wouldn't personally. I think an ice cube would be too much, even a slow, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I'm getting the burn with this is on the tip of my tongue. And as that goes through the initial taste, the ending of the initial taste has that leather note, but then it smooths out and kind of weakens as it goes to the ending note. The ending note is surprisingly mellow, yet you're filled with saliva. Because it's the initial taste was so delicious, it makes you salivate. But the ending note, I'm not getting a ton of flavor outside of just being oily.
Yeah, same. I mean, you do get like the lingering corn, but that's it. And then you get a little bit of the pepper on the very, very end of the ending note. But otherwise, yeah, I'm with you. But for me, the only thing that's opposite from you is the burn for me is on the back of my tongue, not the front of my tongue.
Really?
Yeah. But this is a really consistent product.
Yeah. I will say this would probably be more of an initial sipper for me. I'm not drinking this to... I don't want to say I'm not drinking it to enjoy it, but there's no, for me, long-lasting notes. So I'm going to continuously sip it rather than have a sip, put it down, talk. Because it's so good on the initial taste and a little bit lackluster on the ending note.
And this is like decanter perfect. It's perfect for a decanter. You're not going to like feel bad if you're starting to get low because then you know like, oh, I can just easily pick one up.
Yeah.
But it's also, it goes pretty quick. I'm with you. Rating wise on the ending note, a B.
Yeah, I'd go B. I like that. It's not as good as the initial taste, obviously, but it's not bad. I mean, it makes you want to keep drinking more, probably because that ending note is more lackluster and the initial taste was so delicious.
Yeah.
I do not remember how much it was. I'm looking it up right now. I got this bottle, obviously, from our friends over at Addie's. So, Addie's, thank you very much for everything.
As always.
It was on their discount shelf. So, I'm not 100% sure if the
30 to 40
price
range?
that I give you. Oh, yeah, 30 to 40 for sure.
Okay. Just to ballpark it while we look it up.
Whiskey. But yeah, I think that this is very good. Small batch, I just looked. The first thing that came up was Flavier or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that. But it's that subscription whiskey service or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they quoted it as $40.99. I'm pretty sure Addie's was more around the $35 mark. It's very good for the price. It does scream Maker's Mark to me because it's very traditional in the sense on the nose, but kind of teases you in the taste, which is what Maker's Mark does.
This would make really good cocktails.
Yeah, absolutely.
Final rating.
What do we give it for B? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
B.
All right. Final rating?
Give me that countdown.
3, 2, 1. 86.
84.
Nice. Look at that. That was really quick for you.
Thanks.
Let us know. Have you ever had this one before? I have not. I've not even heard of it. I didn't know that Wyoming not only had their own whiskey, but distilled it and bottled it their own. If you've had this before, let us know if this kind of coincides with what you would rate it. It's a very interesting whiskey. It has a different nose, a very different initial taste, a little bit bland on the ending note, but it keeps making you want to take that initial sip. So I would definitely recommend it. Mike would too. It's good for the price. And yeah, that's it. It's an 84. It's a pretty good rating there.
Solid rating. See ya. All right,
well,
guys.
everybody, thank you very much. Please remember to drink responsibly, be a good person, and Michael.
Do not litter.
We're out.